Hello, coders. Hello, hello, hello. It is a little bit late. I do apologize. About 5 minutes. I was grabbing a cup of tea and some squash. Hope everybody's well. I hope everybody has had a fantastic happy holidays, Christmas, and everybody's staying safe. Today, I would like to... Whoa, camera's nearly falling off the table. Today, I would like to work on some NPM modules that I've been creating sort of in the background. It's going to be a bit of JavaScript, going to be a bit of CSS, JavaScript and PHP, and also some continual integration as well. We might be able to get to that later. Because I've been playing around with Circle CI, and so far so good. It's a good little thing to use for continual integration and delivery. So there's a couple of things. I've also started moving some of the repositories away from Bitbucket and going into GitHub. I want to open source as much as I possibly can with How to Code Well in 2021. So I'm kind of laying the foundations for those kind of things at the moment. So first up, let's get into the code for a second. This is a How to Code Well set of repositories as it stands. So I've moved the portal over and the API. These are both private at the moment, and I'll talk about the GA wrapper in just a second. We also have some React forms. We have tabs. We obviously have the code challenges, the simple image grid, which is the grid of books, and various other bits in the code notes, of course, and the podcast site and the code of conduct. So essentially what I want to do in 2021 is I would like to take the portal apart into separate components, and those components would be open source. So for instance, we have the tabs, which I'm yet to work on. We also have the simple image grid, and I'm thinking of putting all the forms as well in React Forms. And then once it's ready, open it up. So the portal and the API itself won't be that they'll be closed source, closed source. But the components that are and the packages that those use could be abstract enough for it to be those to be open source. The GA wrapper is Google Analytics wrapper. This will be open once I finish it up. And this is basically a nice little wrapper that wraps around a analytics package in NPM. If I click on this, this is what I've literally just pushed up. It's private at the moment, but it will be open once it's all ready and ready to rock. So essentially what it does, if I was to look at the package.json stuff, it has, if I can find the dependencies, analytics and the Google Analytics and the analytics package. These are the two dependencies that requires. And essentially what we're doing here is we are creating a wrapper around these two packages to allow me to then record various events that happen on the website. Because I've been I should also mention I've been planning the roadmap for 2021 for How to Code Well, the website, and I haven't fully defined it yet. Once I do, I'll let everybody know, of course. But one thing that certainly needs to happen in 2021 is to get the user interactions working on the live site. So they're kind of working at the moment on the beta site, but I want to finish it up and then get that from beta to production. And one of the things that I would like to do is I would like to use user events or events in Google Analytics. Let me just move over here a little bit. So essentially what this does is, it's a very lightweight, very simple. So we've got a series of events. At the moment I've only got the one event, which is the user event. If I click this, it's a class. So it's a class that you inject the analytics package in after you've configured it. and it runs these little methods, these public methods. So login, log out, and password reset. So this will fire off to Google Analytics and mark these events, and they'll also, with the payload, come with the actual page in which this happened. So, for instance, knowing when a user clicked the login and what page they did that on, that's quite an important event to track. Same with log out. At what point did they decide to log out of the system? This one is less so important. When did they change to reset their password? This was just me testing and playing with it. It's not real because there's only one real place for that to happen, to be fair. But it's nice to know when people log in and at what point in the site they do it. We'll also have events for courses. So how many courses have been watched? How many courses have been? How many tutorials have been watched? What's the most popular of that? Essentially, I want these analytics to drive certain metrics, shall we say, in 2021, like, for instance, listing the most popular courses or tutorials, that kind of stuff. So if I was to fire these events when people actually click on the things, then that would work. So what I'll just demonstrate here is on the howtocodewell.net site. This is what I'm talking about. So at what point on what page do people click login? So for instance, if I went to pricing, do they click on the login on there? Bear with me a sec. I need to sort the caching out. Yeah. Sort the caching out. Come on. There we go. So obviously this is the live site. So if I go to the beta site, this is probably a better example because all of those things go to the coming soon bit. But on the beta site, you can click on login and you can actually log in. So which page do they actually click the login button? So let's say if they go to pricing, do they click on login? Or let's say, for instance, are they in a blog? Is there a particular blog that people watch and then click on login? Same with register. How many courses do they click through before they click on register? Those kind of sort of analytics I want to sort of keep an eye on, and I want to build the sort of foundations for this. Hello, Mr. DB303. Yeah, I've had a fantastic Christmas. Yeah, it's been good. Murphy, we've been taking Murphy out for lots of walks. In fact, the walk we took him out on today, he got the most muddiest he's ever been, and we ended up having to wash the walls, the front door, everything. His tail turned into a paintbrush of mud. So very, 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 very muddy boy. But he loved it. We went to. We were having some really bad storms last night, so we there's this particular hill that we go to, which is fairly local, and there was lots of trees down. There was lots of running water. The streams were really high with water, and he was just running around getting really super muddy. And then where did we go? On Christmas Day, we took him to the beach, and we had a nice walk along the beach. Kind of bittersweet, really, because I haven't seen any of my family. Apart from obviously on the Zoom calls, I haven't seen them face to face or anything like that. So in person, that's what I mean. No, I mean both my side and my wife's side, we haven't seen family, which is a bit rubbish. But you got to do what you got to do, right? Stay safe. But we had some nice Zoom calls and stuff, and we've been able to take Murphy out for some nice long walks, which I don't think we would normally get to do if we had a lot of people around. So, on the flip side. So yeah, all good. I hope everybody else has been had a good one. Thank you for joining Scav and Dan, and Mr. DB303. Hope you've both had good Christmases. Okay, so So the GA wrapper thing, yeah. Essentially, I guess what I want to do today is run some tests against this. We have one already, which is in SRC in tests, login test, and essentially what happens is you create your analytics package, you set the tracking ID to be dummy, and then you run the event. So you do new user event, that's the class, and then you fire in the login. So my little wrapper just wraps around those things, and that returns a payload, and it's in the async await type sort of style. So you have to await for it to happen, and then you double check that the event equals login, and then it defines in the payload these things. So that's how I'm sort of checking it. And the idea really is for this to be a completely unopinionated package that I can install in various different projects. So I could install this, for instance, on the podcast site. I could install this in a mobile app if I wanted to. If I built this in React Native, I could put this on lots of various different things. So I originally built this in React, but I decided against it just for that sort of state. And I only built this yesterday. And the idea is there is two files. There's I'm in SRC.
Interesting question.
Let me just turn my notifications off. Siri is going. Siri just said, that's an interesting question. Let me just turn my notifications off if I can remember how to do that. I'm still learning the art of the iPhone, coming from an Android device. So there we go, that should be off. Did I get a bad reaction? From what? I don't know what you're talking about. Did I get a bad reaction? Okay, so yes, here we go. This is what I wanted to show you. So we have the index.js. So this is the package that I've created, and you've got to create a config.json file which has your tracking ID in, and then here it's just an export of the user event really, and you give it some name, whatever. But obviously I want to test this in pure HTML, right? So that was the biggest thing I was struggling with. And to do that, I've created this browser.js, which essentially imports the user event from the index, from what I've just shown you. And then we have a run function, which runs certain functions, certain sort of, user events, I guess, login, log out, and password reset, depending on the type in which you give. And this means that when I go into public, after all of this has been built, of course, via npm, in the index file, there is this index file with which we import devbundle.js, and we have these click events, so passing in the type, login, log out, and stuff. So we've got a bundle, a dev bundle. We also have a production bundle. So if I go to here, because essentially the way I've got this working, did I show you in browser? Is that I've attached the run function, which probably should be named something different to be fair, to window, which means that I can grab that from the HTML. That was the only way I could work out how to actually deal with these imports on raw HTML without actually putting it through any kind of, because I wanted to keep this nice and light, you see. Right, yeah, so the package.json is this here, where you've got build, which runs the production build, and then the build dev, which runs the dev build. This start function, this start method command, I should say, opens the index file, and then you got jest tests there too. Yeah, so what I want to do today is add some more tests, add some more events, especially around like enrolling and also around like course events. Add some tests to that. Then what I want to do is go over to Circle CI, and this is the way I'm considering going forward to doing continual integration using Circle CI, although saying that I have also been using Travis as well. So I'm kind of at the stage testing them out. If I was to show you the dashboard, the pipelines, you can see that there's various things failing. These are regression tests, so I do need to fix these regression tests. Yes. I've done a fair amount of work over the Christmas period. So, and then I want to get into the code notes if we've got time, because I really want to get that, continually move that. Oh, I see what you mean. My comment about React. Did I get a bad reaction? Lol. Yeah, I eventually want to get into the code notes too, because I want to keep. There's lots of notes that I need to add to those, because like a note per tutorial, and there's a load of tutorials. So I want to keep that going. So I was originally going to do the code notes first, but I think we'll do this. I think we'll do a little bit of this stuff, the GA wrapper. Now I haven't actually got this installed on this machine, so because I've been doing everything on my laptop the past few days. So we're going to dive into that. Let's just bring that up. I've just suddenly realized that the browser isn't, let's bring that down, hasn't been lined up properly with the windows. That's annoying. Let's bring up PHP Storm. That's too small, isn't it? And I suppose we should also bring up the old terminal. Come on. There we go. All right, so let's go into CD code and how to code well. Do we have components? Yes, we do. In components, I'm going to check this out. So git clone of the GA wrapper. And let's go into the GA wrapper. Sweet. Again, that could be made a wee bit bigger, can't it? Okay, so if I was to cat out the README file, I need to copy the dist over to the config dist. Now, if I was to cat the config dist, it is just that file here. It's just a JSON file where I would put in the UAID in Google of my Google thing. I won't do that today, because I don't want to obviously show the UUID, and also I'm only worrying about testing this. So, and whilst I'm testing this, it's not actually making any calls back to Google, so there's no need. What I will do though, as it needs to be there, I'll just do a CP of config dist to config .json, and we will, in PHP Storm, let's click on open, and let's go into this is all my podcast stuff, code, and where are we? GA wrapper, here we go. Open that up. close that down. Okay, so I guess the first thing I should do is create a branch. And we're going to call this git checkout features tests. Actually, yeah, no, just keep it like that. That's fine. Yeah, no, let's not bother with that. Let's change features. Let's remove that, actually. Yeah, sorry, branch D. What am I doing? Oh, silly me. Man. Let's just check out the -b, and this will be features, and this will be, let's just do event updates, and let's bring that up a wee bit. There we go. And then we can just clear the screen down and do we've done a copy, haven't we? So we should have our config.json. Yep. So we should be able to do, well, NVM. Let's make sure that we're using the right one. And we should be able to do an npm. Well, let's do a cat of the package.json, because I can't remember. .json. Build, dev, start, and test. Okay, obviously I need to do an npm install, right? First things first. Why is that? It's weird that they're on here. We can see a slash there, and we can't when we actually get to. Never mind. Okay. So now we'll do npm run, and it is build dev. Is it build dev? Build dev is for the browser. Let's just do build, run build, because we don't need to worry about the browser. Okay, cool. So then let's do an npm test. Sorry, npm run test or whatever. That's already done it. Excellent. There we go. So that's passed. Great. So this test here has passed. So this is the testing the login event. Let's see if we can add some more. So let's do the logout event. Send logout event, and we are going to instantiate the analytics. That's fine, and pass in debug is true, and this should be, if we hit log out, log out should be log, I think. Yep. Category is going to be user. The label here is user clicked log out. And I think I've just got the value to be set as 1. So let's run that once more. Fingers crossed. No. Okay, so property payload of undefined. So let response is the payload. User logout, that is... I see, I understand. It's because I'm not sending back the payload in the events. That's what. Yes. So I'm only returning this. What I need to do is return that too. So user clicked logout. I think that should work now. So let's run that too. And I probably need to do a build, to be fair. No, that's fine. Of course it's fine. Okay, so that's good. That's a good start. Next, let's do the. I don't know if I should bother with the password reset, to be fair, because they can. These are passing in events that say this event was clicked or happened on this particular page. Well, there's only one page for this, so that is actually quite an odd event to track in Google Analytics. You can only click on the password reset button when you're in the My Account. However, you can click on login and you can click on log out wherever you are in the system. And that to me is more important. Basically, I want to make sure that I'm capturing these triggers essentially. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that. The next thing I'm going to do, I think that kind of covers the login and the user events at this stage. We're going to create an event called course though. And in fact, I think what I'll do is, I'll tell you what, why don't I just put all of these tests? I don't know what the best practice is, whether you should have a test per page, per file, but what I could do is change this to be refactor rename user event dot test, right, and have this in the user event, and probably get rid of some of the duplicate code. So let's just delete this. I don't know whether the best practice is that you should only have one test function within one thing, but it just seems to me like there's a lot of duplication here, which we could quickly avoid. So for instance, that up there could be in here. So could this. Which means that we can get rid of all of this and then just worry about the actual testing rather than all of this stuff. I don't think there's any need for putting them all in one file per test. I don't think that's, in my opinion, I don't think that's worth it. Let's see if we can just run all of this again. There we go. We've got two tests there, both passing. User event.test. Excellent. Okay, we're going to get rid of the before each. There we go. Okay, so then obviously the next one is going to be course event, right? So this is when a user enrolls in a course. This is when a user clicks on a particular, a course, or clicks on a tutorial. So we're going to import all of this stuff again, although we need to import this. This is course event. We'll do this in kind of a sort of a semi-TDD way. Okay, so we're going to instantiate this unknown class called course event, and we're going to say user clicks on no, user enrolls in course. So for this, we're going to do course event here. And what do we need? We want the event to be enrollment. The category is going to be course. The label, I'm making all of this up now. The label is going to be, now, could this be the course name? And if that is the case, then what I would need to do, let's do enroll here. we would pass in course ID, and we would pass in course ID and maybe user ID. I don't know. Because here I could put in the course ID down here, and value. The label is maybe the value. Maybe the value. Sorry, should be the course ID, and the label should be the course name. Course ID, course name. I'm making all of this up. I'm navigating these waters. The way I learned. I mean, I was watching some YouTube videos earlier this morning about the way Google Analytics set up these events, and the thing that I learned was that think of the categories and the labels and the values as sort of a hierarchy. So the category is the course, so you would have more than one events that are associated to that category. Then you would have and then you would have a value. Sorry, then you would have a label. Now, let's just say course ID here is going to be, it's normally a UUID. So let's just say ABCD, right? Whatever, doesn't matter. 1, 2, 3. This is only test. We'll do a const on that. And the course name is going to be, I don't know, Docker for beginners or something. What have I got? I don't know. I can't remember what courses I have. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, Docker for beginners. Let's do that. Docker for beginners. Excellent. We'll do a const on that too. Okay. Now, I think the label should be enrollment, you know? I think that... I don't really know. I know that the event... So that payload doesn't actually match anything, I don't think. Let me just double check. We've got the event log out, log in. No, I don't think that actually goes to... I think that's an internal thing for this library. So I think that needs to be enrollment. Because if you think of it like the hierarchy, you've got the course, and then you've got the label, which is the next level down, which would be enrollment, and then you would have the value, which in this case would be course ID. So we won't put in the course name. I don't think there's any need for that. Okay, now if I run this, it's going to fail miserably because, well, we haven't actually defined any of this stuff yet. So yeah, let's just run it, and it's going to fall flat on its face. I hope it should do. Yeah. Okay. Can't find module course event. So what we do is in here we're going to copy the user event over to a new file called course event, and the course event is going to have a single method. Let's get rid of the logout for a second. Called enroll. Enroll is going to take a course ID. And what we're going to do is we're going to track, that is the event name. So the event name here is, if I can find it, no, that's the wrong thing. Where's the test gone? There we go, test. That is enrollment. So that, if we go over to course event here, there we go. The category is course. The label is enrollment. Yep, that's fine. And the ID or the value is the ID of the course. I think that's okay. I hope. Oh yeah, I think so. I'll have to have a look at the Google Docs and just see if that's okay. But we should at least get the test to pass. Yes, sweet. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is not only does a user enroll in a course, so eventually what will happen, of course, is if you get to what am I on the beta site, if I click on this, for instance, I want another sort of button or page or something to say enroll in this course. And when you click on it, I want that event to be triggered off. So let's just quickly log in. Okay, so let's say, for instance, I've logged in and I want to enroll in a new course. So I would click on this, and then I would click on the enroll button, and it would enroll me straight into it, and that event would be fired off. So the next thing I want to do is I want to trigger an event whenever someone clicks on sort of a tutorial down here, and an event when someone plays a particular video. This will give me an idea of how many people watch a certain tutorial over other tutorials. So on this site, I already know in terms of YouTube and stuff, obviously. So the next one is going to be user watches. Let's do watches tutorial first. Okay. Now, this is going to be a tricky one because I only have this one value to play with. So what I could do is have course event watch, unless I change this to be unless this was a tutorial event rather than a course event. Right, this would equal to watch. I'll have to think about that in the background. The category would be, this is where it's going to get technical, would be tutorial. The label would be watch, and the value would be the tutorial ID. I think we need to have a series of tutorial events as well as course events. I think, really, yeah. Okay. Let's obviously run this and it'll fail. Yes, user course tutorial. I think that's probably wise. I can't spell tutorial. Tutorial doesn't have an E in it. So what I'm going to do here is create another set of tests. Let's just copy that over to here, and we're going to call this tutorial event. And the tutorial event is going to have just the tutorial. Let's get rid of all of this. Don't need that. And that's going to be tutorial event. Why do I keep putting an E at the end of tutorial? Like some... It's almost like I'm dyslexic. Good. Okay. This music is copyright free. Yes, I have followed along with the Twitch drama. If that's what you're getting to, I have followed along with the Twitch drama. Oh my god. See, YouTube had this problem. This is going to get me down a rant now. YouTube had this same problem about a good few years ago, and they sorted it out with their content ID magic. It was very painful, very, very painful. I remember like most of my stuff was being demonetized, and it was because they were using what I think they were doing was they were using machine learning, and they needed to know what wasn't monetizable. So they were getting the feedback from the creators, and that was so painful because every video you did was like demonetized, or most of them, until you made the system learn. But there's no system like that in Twitch, not that I'm aware of. Hey, the Santa hats have come off. Hey, thank you for following. Garapa? Is that Garapa? Is that how you say it? Garapa? Thank you for following. I hope you've had a fantastic set of holidays. I can't remember what day it is. Apparently it's a Sunday. Don't ask me what date it is, though. It's, like, I was speaking to my wife earlier, and I was like, on which week do we start 2021? I have no idea. Is it next week or is it the week after? I have no clue. Every day feels the same, and it's kind of like the same thing with COVID. It was kind of it still is, isn't it? It's like, is it a Monday? Is it a Friday? Who cares? You know, it's the same thing, right? So you're kind of already used to that kind of weird time thing. Oh, I'm wearing the same sweatpants as I did yesterday. Right. Still doesn't mean that it's either a Monday or a or a Sunday. Who knows? Okay, so I think this is going to fail, right? Because we don't have that tutorial stuff set. It should fail. Failed success. Test event is not defined. Right. Let's go and create it. It's going to be very similar to the course event. So this is going to be watch, right? So they watch a tutorial. So watch and watch. And this is going to be tutorial. And we're going to pass in the tutorial ID. Tutorial without any. Right. I need to sort this out, don't I? That should be tutorial event. Class. Whoopsie. Tutorial. And let me just double check. That needs to be tutorial event 2. Oh dear. Something's not wired up properly. So that's a user event. That is a tutorial event. That is a course event. So let's check the tests. Course event shouldn't have anything to do with users. Course event. Okay. And the tutorial event is the tutorial event. Let's put that in the import. Yep, that seems sensible. Right, so that was log in and log out. That one was enrollment. Yeah, that's it. We need to remove this and put it in the tutorial event if I haven't done so already. Okay, tutorial event. Okay, let's run the test. I think this is alright. What's wrong here? Tutorial event.watch is not a function. Is it not? Well, it is. It's here. Why are you not finding that? What have I done wrong? Oh. No, that doesn't make any sense. That should be... Right, let's... See, this is why testing is so good. There we go. Back in the room. Sweet. Yeah, the Twitch thing is weird, right? Because Amazon own Twitch. And Amazon have incredible amounts of money. So they could solve the problem. They could just throw money at it. It's one of those problems that you could like it's gonna. I am beating on Twitch. The user experience of Twitch is awful, absolutely awful, and I'm talking from a creator's point of view. Like, it's just diabolical, the user interface. They keep doing these little crazy little tweaks here and there, but it doesn't fix the problem. The problem is that nothing is discoverable. It's not discoverable. Whereas you've got the two biggest websites ever, Google and then YouTube. Their sort of drive is discoverability. So, you know, it's the whole thing of I'm going to YouTube it. Like, if you want to learn something, you don't go to Twitch, you go to YouTube. If you want to obviously chill out and watch people play video games, there's more people going to Twitch, sure, because for some reason Twitch has nailed the community side of it. However, I do think that YouTube is getting much better with the community stuff. But YouTube is an interesting beast because they have already they've already mastered the art of short form content. Sort of middle range content, I should say. Videos that go from, say, 6 minutes to 10 minutes. That's kind of what I class as middle form content. They have also got live streams, and those live streams are obviously doing really well. So they've mastered live, and they've also mastered short form content too, in terms of their YouTube Shorts and their you can do vertical videos and stuff like that. So they've covered the whole spectrum. I shouldn't say master. There's lots of things that they could do better, but they've covered from tiny microsecond, sort of micro-minute sort of YouTube stories, all the way up to live streams that could be like literally hours and hours and hours, half a day, a day long. So they've covered the whole basis. Whereas with Twitch, they haven't. It's just live, and it's very hard to discover anything that is live because it didn't exist 5 minutes ago. Do you see what I mean? And the weird thing that they could really do really well is they could fix their clips to make it discoverable, because they have this tool that I use, which is exporting videos to YouTube. So after you've done a broadcast, you have to wait a couple of minutes, and if you're an affiliate like me, you have to wait 24 hours, and then you have the ability to export the video, the VOD, to YouTube, and which I do, which is what the How to Code Well archive is all about. Regardless of the fact that I haven't done that in a while, but I've been busy. But the thing is, they could use that sort of the whole clip section and the VODs as their searchability. They could give the creators more tools in order to update content that they've already broadcast in more of a searchable, discoverable means. Because let's face it, if you're going to watch a Twitch clip, are you going to watch it on Twitch or are you going to watch it on YouTube? You're going to watch it on YouTube. Why is that? That doesn't even make sense. So in my opinion, there is a lot of work that they could do to make this platform much better. And to be honest, they could do so much with the educational stuff. I mean, that is a market that someone needs to take on, the educational side of it. Regardless of whether it's YouTube or Twitch, that is a really good place where people can have live educational content. And I think that they're missing a trick with COVID, because so many people are at home and so many people are learning new skills and hobbies and stuff on YouTube. YouTube actually did a marketing campaign, didn't they, not so long ago, where they were driving people to YouTube for learning various different things during this crazy time. Yeah, whatever. / rant. I'm not a massive fan of Twitch from the content creation perspective. I don't think I think they're missing a lot of tricks, and it feels like Amazon has just bought a startup and they are just waiting for it to become something that it won't become unless they actually put some work in. It feels like a startup, and it's been around for a while. Anywho. Well, yeah, Scav and Dan mentioned about, game streaming on Twitch and stuff. They've got to be careful because, Facebook gaming and YouTube gaming, that's actually really good. And the thing is, the problems that they're hitting on Twitch at the moment is just, like I mentioned before, YouTube hit these issues a long time ago. And YouTube put out, YouTube showed the world how it's done with copyright strikes. Twitch could have read that playbook. It feels the solutions that they've done feel like band-aids rather than actually solving the problem. Like, for instance, from a creator's point of view, not having enough feedback time, or having a way of reviewing and taking that to YouTube have actual independent reviewers who will manually review your videos if their system that is so intelligent flags it up and you request a review. You have to go, when you upload a YouTube video, you have to do a lot of legwork to prove that it's not that it shouldn't be demonetized. So, for instance, you have to tick a load of stuff. You have to answer a load of questions. They've just updated, well, recently, I suppose, in the last sort of 6 months, they've updated their the studio. They have a wonderful mobile app that I use regularly to answer comments and questions and stuff. All of that stuff, especially with Twitch is really good with user interactions, right? So we can have a conversation here on the chat, and it's fantastic. But YouTube is great for having comments on videos that have already been there, right? So like past broadcasts. Why can't Twitch do the same thing with their clips? That's why I don't do any clips anymore, because there's no point, because nobody uses them. Because you can't search for them. You cannot search for them. If you could, then I would consider doing live YouTube live tutorials on Twitch and then clipping them up. Anyway, like I said, the educational part of this needs some work. This is why I'm building my own platform. Anywho, right, so we've just created a tutorial event, which is the user watches. Okay, so the user watches a tutorial. Is there going to be any more tutorial events? Like, we could have an event for changing the speed and the duration. I mean, this is all sort of like real future stuff, but you could have an event on this player, couldn't you? That is triggered when someone changes the speed in which this plays. Or an event that is triggered when someone shares particular videos. So this could really go off into a different direction. But I think thinking about what I want to achieve in 2021, I want to try and sort of condense the user functionality as much as I possibly can, whilst laying the foundations for future work. So if I was to put in an event like, changing the speed and all of that stuff, I probably won't implement the whole back end of it for a long time. And in fact, I'll probably forget about it. So I think for now, we'll just do the fundamentals of what they can actually do at the moment on the site. So that is logging in, logging out, obviously, watching and enrolling. Is there anything else? I think that kind of covers it. I think that kind of covers the basis. I think. Let me have a look at the old website. So one can click on a course, they enroll in the course, eventually, and then they will click on one of these things. Now the question is, do they watching is pressing the button to press watch, right? That's a watch. Clicking on a tutorial is just clicking on a tutorial. So maybe I should do maybe I should do another event for clicking. Right, so we have an event that gets fired off. And so a watch is an actual watch, but we're going to do clicks on tutorial. Yeah. Again, passing in the ID. Let's just tidy up the casing of these things. Okay, and if we run this, that should also fail. We also need to have another one on the course, which is also clicks, because you would click on a course that you've already enrolled in, or you would enroll in a course that you haven't enrolled in. So let's so that should be .click, and we'll go into here, which is in there, and we should have another one called click, and that is a click event. Oops. Okay, let's make sure that runs and passes. My passion out of work hours. Yeah. Yeah, I woke up thinking about this. This is like I'll show you. I'll do a little demo. I don't know if you can see it. If we go to here. So I bought myself one of these. It's just a notebook. It's a black and red notebook. It's really good, these notebooks. And I started with I don't know if you can see it. Don't know if you can see any of that, to be honest, because of the. Anyway, I'll read it. How to code well 2021 ideas. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ideas that aren't anything to do with. Well, that one is. Okay, I got 4 ideas that aren't anything to do with this website. Not directly, anyway. More to do with the API. So this is kind of just my pot of ideas, I suppose. They're big projects. And then I've got on the next page, I've got how to code well 2021 objectives. So these are technical objectives, and I have 16 of them, and I need to whittle these down because they are too big. And one of these objectives is the event tracking, which is what I'm doing at the moment. Yeah, there's also payment stuff. Cool. And then what I've done, I really don't think you can see this, but I don't know if you can see that, but that is I've split the page up into four quarters. So we've got Q1 January to March, Q2 April to June, Q3 July to September, and Q4 October to December. And what I'm going to do is allow myself like 3 or 4 of these objectives to do in these blocks. Now, obviously, we completely messed up the well, we didn't completely mess up. No, the 2020 roadmap that I put out last year, we obviously didn't meet. Because I wanted this to all be live, and I would have people, premium users on the system, and everything be hunky-dory and marketed, and but life gets in the way. So that never happened. And I also think that unfortunately I basically over-egged my pineapple last year. I decided I tried to do too much, too many things, and I gave myself this arbitrary goal that everything is going to be done in the new year. And that obviously hasn't happened. We are still here. So, we're still here. We're writing code to allow people to actually log in and access the site and do various things. The production site doesn't look anything like the beta site. But when we started the project, or when I started live streaming, because I did start the project years before, when I started live streaming this project, we didn't have the website. We had the old website. We didn't have the beta site. We didn't have the CMS. We didn't have the API. So in fact, we've done a lot of stuff. And on paper, we've done a lot of technical things. So what I want to do is sort of list these ideas, break them up into smaller chunks, and then see if I can divide those up into the quarters and try and get to a point where I'm happy with the code, I'm happy with the project, and it can go live in production, where people can actually register and subscribe and watch the courses and read the course notes and do all those things. And essentially, this is the drive for this 2021. It's not really a mop-up of 2020. It's more of a continual evolution of this. And I was thinking the other day about the user interactions, because that's what I want to focus on in Q1. I still need to actually define these out, write these tasks out. I was just thinking, how am I going to know that this actually works? And I was thinking about smart targets, targets that are well-defined objectives. They're not just arbitrary goals, things that you can actually measure. And I thought, well, Google Analytics, that's a measurement tool. So I could use Google Analytics to measure the amount of people who actually log in, who actually log out, who actually watch these things, which is what I'm trying to do now. And then once that's done, we'll obviously incorporate it into the project. We'll do some course notes. We'll do the login functionality. There's some stuff I need to fix around all of that. I need to put in monitoring. Lots of various interesting things happening in the first quarter, I think. And then in Q2, I'll probably work on the premium side of it. So get Stripe up and running. And Q3, I'm not too sure. Possibly doing some Elasticsearch, maybe, because I want to make this, as I mentioned with the Twitch and the YouTube rant, discoverable. I want people to go on this website and go, oh, does he have a tutorial for this? So I want to have its own little search engine. Now that's a big project in itself. So that, if we get to that point, that might kick off in Q3. But what I'm going to do this year, next year in 2021, is I wouldn't mind just saying Q4 is maintenance mode. As in, let's not do any massive new changes in Q4. Let's give 3 months to bed this system in and to fix as many bugs as we can in Q4. And I think that's what I failed with in the last year. I didn't give myself enough time to properly test and go back to the core fundamentals of what I wanted to achieve in 2020. I was just like, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to do this. So that's kind of where my head is at the moment. It might probably all change, to be fair. Anyway, let's get back to the code. Yeah, there was also this crazy period where I decided, in my infinite wisdom, to microservice everything. So we ended up with a series of back-end projects. Like the user authentication was in its own microservice. The course was in its own service. Even the tutorials was in its own service. And I was fighting with authentication and authorization. I was fighting with keeping everything maintained and up together. And it got to a bit of a crunch time, sort of mid-year. And I was just like, no, it needs to all go back into a monolith. There's only one of me. Stop thinking that this project is bigger than it is. So we brought that up. So there was a fair amount of wasted time, I think, in 2020. It's not really wasted time. It's more of time, learning time. You know, I keep saying that development is all about, you know, it's a series of failures, right? It's a series of failures. You only succeed once. But you can obviously succeed more than once, but in terms of a project, getting a project across the line successfully, you know, you have to go through an iteration process, a bit of R&D, a bit of trial and error, a lot of failure to actually get to a point where you are comfortable with the architecture, and you only come up with a single architecture. That's what I meant, as in you only succeed once. You come up with a single architecture. At the end of the day, you don't have multiple architectures floating about. You know, in the back end, it is a architecture that is well defined. But in order to get to that point, you have to break a few eggs. And we broke loads. And we broke loads. Enjoy your food. Enjoy your food. Yeah, I'm going to keep plugging on. Well, I think we've kind of got some good headway on this. Is this failing still? User clicks tutorial received expected a watch. Is this still failing? Let's run it again. I can't remember. Have we fixed it? Yeah, no. Let's have a look. So tutorial test. User clicks on the tutorial. User clicks. Right, that needs to be click. Gotcha. And I've just seen in my notebook the premium stuff. So we'll do that.
Hello, coders.
Yeah. So when a user does a payment, and when a user does gets to the thank you page, there's only two things there, so that's easy enough. The trouble with this notepad is it's so big. I'm not used to those. Hello, thank you for joining, Ozzy. Yes, I am that guy, the Python clean coding course. Welcome from the UK. I hope you're doing well, staying safe, and enjoying the Sunday. Yes, I am the Python clean coding teacher, I suppose you could call me. Yeah, that's one of the courses I've done. I'm taking it you're mentioning the packed publication jobby. This thing, if I was to find it. Python, can't spell it. Python. I'll just put in my name. This one. That's me. Sweet. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was helpful. So those jest tests, where are we at? They've all passed. Sweet. I'm going to create a new one, and we're going to do payment this time. I think that's wise. Again, none of the back end for this is actually running, so we're kind of building. I don't want to build too much of this stuff yet until I'm actually doing it. But as it's in my notebook, it needs to be. We need to get it out. So let's do user places payment. And so I think this should be plan ID. Plan. Actually, we won't give it an ID. We'll do plan type. So plan type, and we'll do monthly. Actually, instead of payment type, let's do user subscribes. Yeah. So this would be subscription type. And yeah, gosh, naming things in programming is really difficult. Subscription. There we go. Subscription type. And this means that I'm going to change this from payment type to be subscription event. Yeah, that makes sense in my head, kind of. So, right, let's fix this up. This needs to be subscription event. A bit of TDD here. Subscription. None of this exists. Subscription event. That doesn't exist yet, but that's fine. That's the subscription type. We'll pass that in. We'll have this as subscribe. Subscribe. IB. That is our subscription event in there. So subscription event, subscribe, passing in the subscription type. And we want this event to be subscribe. And we want the category to be subscription. We want the label to be subscribe, IB, and we want the value to be the type. And let's get rid of that test. Okay, I think that kind of sorts that. It's going to fail, obviously, because we don't have the class, the subscription event class. So it should fail. Yep. So, and it's failed on this, which makes sense. So if we go over to, where are we? Yeah, whatever. Doesn't matter. Just copy that. That should be, is it subscription or subscribe event? Subscription. Subscription, I think. Let me double check that. Subscription. Yeah, it is. Okay. So we now should be able to import that in. And we should be able to subscribe. subscribe. There we go. Passing in the plan type. So let's pass that in as that would be subscribe, right? That would be subscription, I think. Subscription. Come on. And this would be plan type. Hopefully that works. We can get rid of the click. This would be a subscription event. There we go. So if we went back to the test, which is here. Okay, let's run it. No, it's failed. Okay. Test suite failed, syntax error, yada, yada, yada. Identify subscription event has already been declared. Has it really? Subscription event. Oh, yes, lowercase. Silly me. I mean, really, I could just get away with saying that's an event, to be fair. You know, it's an event. It just happens to be an instantiation of the subscription event. Okay, let's now run that and see what happens here. And I'll refactor the other ones if this passes. No, it doesn't. Okay. Okay, we received a watch. Why did we do that? We expect to subscribe and we received a watch. Really? Subscribe. Why? Oh, this is weird. What have I done? Right. Okay, let's step through it then. So if we go to subscription event, we import subscription event in from events subscription event. That's the analytics. That's all good. We then instantiate a subscription event, passing in the analytics object. And then we do a subscription type, monthly. Response is event, which is a subscription event. And then we do the payload to equal properties. There's nothing in here about watching. So maybe it's definitely on here. It's definitely in that test file. Okay, let me see. Let me run this once more. Maybe it just needs a kick or something. Nope. Event. Event. Payload. That's the response. Subscribe. Oh, here we go. Here it is. Lol. Come on. Right, there we go. It's all done. It's all done. I think that kind of covers it. So we've got user events, which are logging in and logging out. We've got a tutorial event, which is watching and clicking. We've got a subscription event, which is subscribing. And we have a course event, which is enrolling. Now, we also need to have another one, which is to do with clicking on a course. So when a user clicks on a course, because of course you can, if you're clicking on a course that you've already enrolled in, you're not enrolling into it again, you're just clicking on a course. So here you do response course event, and then this is click. And now this doesn't exist yet, so again this is going to fail miserably, but let's click here. So let's run the test. Excellent. Let's go into tutorial events and copy the click event and put that into the course event. And this will be the course ID. And this would be the course category. Okay. Right, let's run those tests once more. And I think this kind of covers it. I think this goes through. And I think after this, what I'll do is I'll do some course notes, I think. Okay. So yeah, that's all working fine. Yeah, so let me just go through it again in my head. So we have the user event, which is log in and log out. We have a tutorial event, which is the watching a tutorial and clicking on a tutorial. We have a subscription event, which is subscribing. Yeah. And then we have a course event, which is enrolling and then clicking. I think that kind of covers it for the MVP. I think that's pretty good. So essentially what happens when these events get fired is that they get pushed to Google Analytics, and then it gets marked with the page in which the event was hit, and then it groups them by category and then label, and then you give it the value. I think that kind of that works. That works. What I'll do is I will just double check everything. Git add git commit -am, and we'll do adding events for courses, tutorials, subscriptions. Sweet. There we go. Oh, hang on a minute. No, I need to do a git. Hold on. No. Oh, pipe to grep. Typical. I can't remember how to do it. Actually, isn't it just git push to origin? Yeah, it is. And then you pass in the branch name. So features, event, updates. Wonderful. So if we go over to GitHub, which is in Chrome. That's all good. Compare and poll. Let's just do a quick sanity check. That looks good. Let's bring this out a little bit. Enrollment. I'm just double checking things, making sure they all line up correctly. What we should do is we should kick off. We should get this running in Circle CI. Yeah. I'm not sure if I'm ready for that yet. So I think what I'll do is I'll merge this in. This is a private repo, so I'll merge it in. We'll get rid of that. Hey, Madhouse Steve, thank you for rating, man. Thank you. I really hope your stream went well.
Hello, coders.
Hello, everybody. Hello. What kind of stuff were you streaming? What stuff were you doing? Thank you, everybody, for joining. It's hello. I don't know if I'm going to change that next year. I don't know. It still freaks me out whenever I hear my own voice in the headphones say that. Cool. Okay, so I think that kind of does it. I'm going to create an issue though for setting up Circle CI, and I also want to set up another issue for making this open source. So we're going to do. I'm just going to put in a note. So this is going to be create Circle CI config, because I really want this to be, Circle CI to test this as it goes. So I'm just gonna put that in, and then I'm going to also put in another issue and just say make open source. And I will, after the stream, I'll think about what is needed for that to happen. So at least I've got the two issues married up. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do today is, I think I really should deal with these code notes, because we've got so many outstanding code notes. And if I'm releasing a new tutorial every week, so that's one tutorial a week, and I'm going to be saying this every time I do code notes, by the way, just to remind myself of how much work is involved. If I put out a tutorial every week, that's 52 tutorials a year. And so if I don't do the code notes, then I'm just going to have a horrible backlog. So I need to do at least 24? Just to get halfway. And we have something in I think it's something like 125 tutorials. There's 16 courses, and there's 125 tutorials covering those, plus 52 that's going to happen potentially next year. I mean, it doesn't always work out like once a week. I mean, last year, well, I say last year like it's already finished. In 2020, there were some weeks where I would put out 4 tutorials a week because I was insane. That was during the time when I had no work. So I just created tutorials. So yeah, what I'm saying is that we need to create these code notes. Otherwise, when people click on these things, it's just going to be like, actually, this is a bad example because there is no code notes here. But when people click on, that's another bad example. Let's find one that doesn't have any code notes. Like the PHP MySQL jobby. I don't think there's any code notes here. No, there isn't. Yeah. So when people click on these, they'll be like, there's no notes. So, it's just a video. And really these notes are supposed to be bridging some of the knowledge gaps that the videos don't actually offer. So, okay. So really I need to go back over to here and click on how to code well. as the organization. Come on. Yes, I want to go. There we go. And let's take a look at code notes. Now there is 60 issues I've already raised. There's more issues that I need to raise. I'm probably going to do that tomorrow morning. So we haven't covered all of them. These are all the missing notes and all the missing notes. So yeah, there's more than 60. There's at least 100. So I basically need to pick one of these from random and write it. That's what I'm going to do. I'm glad your stream went well, Madhouse Steve. Thank you. Just having a look at the old comments here. Building a Twitch bot. Nice. Oh, I should check that out. That's cool. What language are you using that? Is that JavaScript? Nice. Oh, thank you, Mr. DB. Thank you for saying that. I'll be starting some more code notes over the... Yeah, so I should say that this is all open source. So if you want to write some code notes yourself, go for it. Much appreciated. Thank you. Yeah, just raise a pull request. So I think I'm going to do... I suppose I might as well just work from the top, right? So this one here is how to filter variables in PHP. Or we could do how to delete MySQL row in PHP. I'll tell you what, let's do that. Because that, there we go. Let's raise that. So I need to find the... It doesn't matter which note it is, to be fair. Sorry, I'm just trying to find the course notes repo. Let's do new window. That's a bit worrying. Why is that still green? No, good. I thought there was some things that I didn't commit. That's cool. Okay, let's get rid of that one for now. Okay, so these are the code notes. And essentially they're just markdown files. And when the website, when the front end of How to Code Well, the beta version at least, we haven't got this live yet, but when the beta version, beta.howtocodewell, when that builds, it's Gatsby, so it's a static site. When that builds, it pulls in the code notes from GitHub, from the repositories, and it maps the code note to the actual tutorial. And then it builds that in as the tab down here. So, excuse me. So, for instance, let's load this up on a new page. So, I think HTML beginners have. I'm gonna have to log in again, aren't I? Damn. Come on. Right. So if we go to courses and then is it HTML for beginners? Yeah. So these are the notes that are in GitHub. They're just markdown files, and they're associated by magic to the actual tutorial. So when you click on, say, hyperlinks, for instance, you get the course note for hyperlinks, and eventually there'll be the transcripts of the video themselves. That's the idea. That's the plan. So. What did I pick on? It was the MySQL delete jobby, wasn't it? There we go. So this one is number 70. So I'm going to come out of here for a minute. Oops. Okay, let's do an ls because I can't remember where I put it. Is it course notes? See, my naming convention is terrible. It's different on my laptop. It's code notes on my laptop. This is course notes. Silly. So, let's do a git pull, just in case there's anything that I haven't pulled down already. No, that's good. Let's do a git checkout -b of features, and we'll do we'll do 7. It doesn't matter how you call the branch. It doesn't matter. But I'm going to do 70 because it's 70 there, and I'm also going to do hyphen PHP MySQL delete. Sweet. Okay. So then we load that up. So that would be in. We find the relevant thing, which is this. Then we click on Notes, and what I've done is I've created templates, I suppose you could call them, of how the file names are going to be. This is how the magic works, because it looks at the number and it associates the number with the tutorial, the number that it's on. So we were looking at the delete one, number 4. Okay. So let's get rid of this. And to delete in MySQL, let's just write some code. Do we have... Oh, there is the ability here. So we would have delete from, and then the table name. So let's just do users, for instance. And you could do where, and you could have, I don't know, ID is equal to 1, 2, 3. Let's put ID in lowercase. Let's put that in backticks. So to delete a record from MySQL, must spell it right, otherwise people will get angry with me. To delete a record from a MySQL database, run the following. Okay. And then you would have to delete a record from or you could just say this can be done in PHP like so. And you would pass in some PHP, making all of this up, of course. And the PHP would have, you would do SQL, and you would equal that to be this SQL. And I suppose what you would do is, let me just get something running. Hang on a minute, give me a second. Otherwise, I need to test this out, right? So let's do Docker machine, start how to code well, dev, let's just create some stuff. Is this deleting a record or is this deleting a table? This is deleting a row. Okay, that's fine. A row or a record, whatever. And then is this MySQL I? Because that would be MySQL equals new. Or is this PDO? Maybe it's PDO. Maybe I should do PDO. PDO is probably better, isn't it? Let's have a little look on the old Googles. Come on. I just want to get the arguments in the right order. Delete from table blah blah blah, where column is blah blah yada yada yada. So this is using MySQL I. I can't remember whether that is MySQL I. I think it might be. Let me have let's have a look. That looks like, yeah, it's MySQL I. I can see it on the actual I can see it there. Yeah, so let's not do PDO. Let's just do MySQL I. So I can see in the thumbnail how to do it. You would instantiate, you would connect MySQL I, and then you would return an object. Okay, fine. Let's go back to W3C schools. So you got server name, username, password, DB, and you would make that connection. Okay, fine. connection is equal to a new instance of MySQLi. There we go. And in MySQLi, we would have a host name, so that would be whatever. Host name. We would have the username, so we would have, let's just say username. I mean, and then we would have the password, right? We would have the database, so we would have MyDB. And we do some checking with whether or not the connection's there, whatever. We get the SQL, that's what I'm looking for, the connection. So we do the query of this, and then it says it's deleted successfully. Okay, so we do, I would do it, to do it nice and clean, I would do has deleted, right? Because we know that that's going to be returning a Boolean. And we would do a connection query passing in the SQL. So we would do connection, and then we would do the query, and then we pass in the SQL like this. Now this is going to return a Boolean, so whether it's true or false. So we can then do if has deleted, and that will obviously be a Boolean check. So we could do echo record has been deleted, else record still exists. And I'm not using JavaScript anymore, so I need to put in my quotes, my semicolon, whatever they're called. And then after this, yes, we would do the connection close. Yeah, there we go. I didn't need to get the Docker machine running, but let's just try it. Let's do an eval of the machine. Docker ps-a. We should have MySQL running somewhere. Yes, yes we do. So let's do a Docker exec-it-it. Come on. Of API DB. Let's go in as bash. Really? Maybe maybe it is just. Is it that? There we go. Okay. So now we do MySQL minus u root minus p, and I think this is the password. Yes, it is. Let's do show tables. No data. Fine. Use how to code well. Show tables. Tables. 1L. Okay. Let's just create a table. Create table. I don't know. Let's just call this temp, right? Table must have a. God's sake. Of course it does. Fine. Tell you what, an easy way to do this is to do show is it show or is it select? I forget. Select. No, it's show. It's definitely show. Show create table. And let's do tutorial. Let's do something else a little less silly. Let's do tag. There we go. So that's how it's created. So we can grab that and we can run that and we can change the tag. Well, yeah. Now, unfortunately, I haven't set my keyboard to be able to jump to the top. In fact, let's just use the tag table. Ugh. Select all from tag. Yeah, let's not create another table just for this. I mean, we might as well just use, here we go. So let's get rid of that for a second so we can actually see what we're doing. Let's do a delete from tag, that is the table, where ID is equal to one of these. I'm okay with this because obviously we've got some scripts to deal with sorting this out. So if we were to run that, that would it's got a foreign key. Of course it's got a foreign key, so I can't delete that. But anyway, that would be the command. But it's got a foreign key, of course. And is that the same command as what I've got here? Delete from, and then the table where ID is equal to. Yes, it is. Let's put a space in between these. Okay. And we would do a delete. We would do a connection, instantiate a MySQL. That would be the host name, the username, the password, the database. I think ports is an optional thing. And then down here we have has deleted. We run the query. That returns a Boolean, does it? It's a Boolean or a MySQL result. Okay. Can a MySQL result be false? Let's see. Return MySQL result object for. Read it. MySQL I result or Boolean for successful. Select, show, describe, or explain queries. Okay. MySQL I query will return a MySQL I result object. For other successful queries, MySQL query will return true and false on failure. Yes, it will return true for other. Yeah, so it is a Boolean. It is a Boolean. Okay. Marvelous. Okay, so to delete a record in MySQL, in a MySQL database, run the following. There's that. And then this can be done in PHP using MySQLi, like so. And I think really that covers it. Does it not? I mean, that's how you delete a record. Yeah. Now we need to put in the front matter, of course, don't we? If we were to have a look at the other notes, I think I'm looking. My camera's in the way. Bear with me a minute. I got a swivel stick thing on my camera, and it's in the way of the screen. I'm looking for HTML for beginners. There we go. Look at the notes. Look at the first one. There we go. We've got some front matter that we need to apply. This is the magic, not the other stuff. This is the magic that links the course notes to the tutorial. So this would be the slug of the course name. So the slug in this case is going to be PHP MySQL. It really should be MySQL I. We can change that maybe later on. I'll do a review of the whole thing perhaps. This is tutorial number 4, and the type is of a note. Okay. Yeah, I think that's fine. I think that's good. So I'm going to do. Let's just come out of this. Exit all the things. Didn't need to go in there in the end, did I? And of course we've come away from the repo. Let's do a git status, if I can spell it, of course. Status. Let's just do a quick diff. No new line. Okay, let's do that. Let's add that in. There we go. Okay, let's do a git commit -am, adding course notes for PHP delete MySQLi, and this should do a hashtag hash or closes hash 70. Or, yeah. Oh, damn. Single quote. I didn't set it as a tracking branch. How annoying. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Okay, let's go over to GitHub and have a look at the thingamabob. Pull request. Compare. Okay, what kind of PR is this? It is a new course piece. I won't worry about all of this. I need to get the GitHub labeler action working on this, to be fair. And yeah, it's just a difference between the magic is looking here. So tutorial 4 in this area. That looks fine to me, I think. As an administrator, I have the power. And we will get rid of that branch, which should mean that we've got rid of the, we've closed the PR, the issue, I think. That should come down to 59. Yes, it has. Sweet. Okay. That was fairly straightforward. Okay, so we've done JavaScript, we've done Markdown. Should we do some, MySQL and PHP? Let's do some continuous integration. Why not? Yeah. I think, though, I'm going to probably go and get a cup of tea. So I will be back very shortly with a cup of tea, and then we'll work on some Circle CI stuff, I think. Yeah. I will be back very shortly. If I can find the BR. There we go. Hello. I have my cup of tea. Sorry for my kettle takes so long to boil, and also I was eating fudge downstairs. One of my relatives got me some fudge, and fudge is like my weak spot. I really like fudge, so I was just chomping on that. Anyway, enough of this. What are we going to do now? We're going to move on to... Have I changed this already? Yes, the course notes. That's what we've just done. We've just done the course notes for deleting MySQL, but now I want to move on to some continuous integration. We've actually covered quite a lot today, haven't we? We've covered the Google Analytics module in JavaScript. We've covered a course note, which is deleting MySQL records in PHP. And now we're going to move on to Circle CI, and we're going to fix. So let's get rid of some of these old windows, and we're going to fix. I think we're going to fix the regression test. So I've got this regression test that runs every evening at midnight, and it's on the portal. So back to JavaScript, a bit of React actually. So let's see. Let's have a little nosy. What I'm going to do, because I'm in the process of moving everything from Bitbucket over to GitHub, so I need to check this out again because I was doing it on my laptop earlier. So let's have a little. I'm just having a think. Sorry. Let's come out of this. In fact, what we should do is delete the branch. Let's just do that, just to tidy up. So let's go back to let's git checkout main. And then let's do a git branch -d, and it was features 70 PHP MySQL delete. Brilliant. Okay, so let's go back to let's do a git pull just to finish this up, because I did merge this in. Okay, let's go over to I want to get to there. Let's have a look at the directories. We've got the portal site. I'm probably going to move that. Let's do MV portal. Although, what's in system? No. These were all the microservices that we were playing with before. Never mind. Let's move the portal to portal BKP, right, for portal backup. So this is on the Bitbucket. Now I want to clone the new one. So go back to how to code well. The new one is this one. You can see how much work I've done on it. So we'll clone this. Why is there 9 branches? Oh, is this because I've got yeah, I've pulled the other branches up. That's fine. Let's copy this. Go to git clone of the portal. This is the front end of how to code well. There's a lot to pull down. Okay, whilst this is running, let's load up a new project. File open. And this is going to be in code. Where is it? How to code well. It's not components. It's this one, the new one, because that's the old one. Okay, let's open this up. Let's do it in this window. Might as well. May as well. Okay, so what I want to work on is I want to work on Circle CI, wherever I can find it. Here we go, .circle CI. I want to work on this, and it's the test acceptance job, which is failing, and I think I kind of got an idea why. So we're going to probably do a bit of reading. I got a feeling it's something to do with my workspaces not being persisted. So anyway, let's get into the new portal site. And what I suppose we should do is do an npm install to install everything. And then I'll create a new branch off of develop. So we'll check out develop, and then we'll take a look at this. So essentially, what happens here is that you've got there's two workflows. Well, the first workflow is building and testing. So this runs the build job, and then it tests the units, which is fine. This workflow works, but the second workflow is the thing that fails. So this fires off at midnight. Every night, and it only works on the regression and the main branch, and its jobs include these are environment variable jobs. Don't worry about that. It requires the build to be built, and then it does test acceptance. But if we have a look at Circle CI's errors, it's complaining about something that should already exist. So if we click on here, it gets to the acceptance test. Sorry, it gets to the unit test, beg your pardon, and it complains that Babel jest doesn't exist. Well, it does. It should do. The fact that the unit test, the build and test workflow works, it shows that this should work. So I'm thinking it's something to do with the workspaces not being configured correctly. Always going on with that. So I think there is this thing in Circle CI, if I can find it, about persisting data across persist to workspace. There we go. Okay, so let's have a look at that. Persist. Okay, no, can't find that. What about workspace? Here we go, persist to workspace. This is within the steps node, right? So in the run, you have steps, then you have run, when, checkout, save cache, restore cache. So this is saving and restoring the node module stuff. Then you've got storing artifacts. That's like storing reports, I think, test reports and stuff. And then you've got persist to workspace. So if we click on, and we've also got attached to workspace. Okay, let's load that up in a new window. So you must forgive me. I'm learning Circle CI. It was only like last week I actually started playing with this. So there's going to be a fair amount of trial and error. Okay, so special step. So it's a step itself. Okay. Oh no, hang on. No, yes, down here. It is a special step used to persist a temporary file, a single temporary file, to be used by another job in the workflow. Okay, workspaces are stored for 15 days after they've been created. All jobs that try to use a workspace older than 15 days, including partial reruns of workflows and SSH reruns of individual jobs, will fail. That's fine. Okay, so there's two options. There's a root and the paths. So the root key is a directory on the container which is taken to be on the root directory of the workspace. Don't understand that. Oh, is that just the root directory? Is that basically what this is saying? Okay, example of root key. The following example, for example, the following steps syntax persists There's the specified pass from temp dir. Okay, so this is persisting it in there, I suppose. Into the workspace relative to the directory temp dir. Okay, fine. After this step completes, the following directories are added to the workspace: foobar and baz. So we've got foobar and baz. Okay, that makes sense. You got an asterisk here, so I think you can copy everything in. The parse lists uses glob from Go and the pattern matching from filepath.match. So okay, that's fine. And then here you would, I guess the attachment is the other way around, isn't it? Each workflow has a temporary workspace associated with it. The workspace can be used to pass along unique data built during the job, blah 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 blah. Yeah. So I think this is the way it works. So you would attach the workspace. Okay, now I'm reading that. I'm not actually sure whether that's a solution to my problem. To be honest, let's just see how this has. We've got to get this working locally first before we can actually point anything at Circle CI. So, okay, we've just done an npm install. So let's do a what should we do? Let's do a make, because I know we've got make files in here. Let's just have a look at the make file. We got build, up, down, remove, local dev, clean, serve. Don't need any of this stuff. Test unit. There we go. Make test unit. So if we did make test unit, whoops. Make test unit. So this should run jest, and it should test. Yes, this is right. This is right. Oops. Wow, my tea's too hot. Okay, so they are all passing. They're all passing. Okay, and the jest issue. Sorry, the Circle CI issue, when we do run test unit, it hits this. It runs that command, which we've literally just run locally, but it's complaining that it can't find modules, which kind of means to me that it hasn't installed. So this is running the npm install, which we've just done locally. It then saves that to the cache. And then it runs the unit tests. Maybe it isn't anything to do with the workspace, the attaching. That is so bizarre. It's annoying that I can't replicate this. Okay, the root path is this, and then coders. Jest node modules. Okay, and then okay, so that looks fine. That looks fine. Hello, coders. Thank you for following Toby Legend DK. Thank you very much. And obviously, whilst I was out, thank you also for following. Is it Black Guy EN triple? Is it quadruple one? I'm currently working on the How to Code Well website, which is this old thing. And what I've been doing is, so this is a website that lists all of my coding courses. And I'm trying to integrate Circle CI for continuous integration. I've only literally started playing with Circle CI in the last few days. So, or like start of last week. So I'm very fresh to this. We have that. This is a job that. So let's back up. The site is Gatsby. It pulls in data from various APIs that we've built in PHP. Yada yada yada. There are a number of jobs that, there's 2 jobs that I've created or 2 pipelines, I should say. Let's get the terminology right. One pipeline is to do the build, which does the normal build and then the test of the units. So that's the one, and that works each time. However, there is a build that runs every evening at midnight that does a build, a test unit, and then a test acceptance. So it's running the same code. It's running the same code, but it fails at test unit, and I can't work out why. So that's what I'm scratching my head on at the moment. So it's done the build. That's all gone through. It's saved the cache, and everything's happy there. And then it's doing the test unit, and it fails. Now, the reason why I was thinking about using workspaces was the fact that this essentially is doing two jobs. One is the build, then it's the test unit. It's actually doing 3, test acceptance. And I don't think these 2 are using the same data. I think this is doing a clean, fresh thing. So really what I need to do is build this, and then so back here where I was looking at the setting it, maybe I need to do that. I don't know. I'm clutching at straws, obviously. Yeah, well, you're going to see a lot of struggling. I've been a developer for about 20 odd years, and this is a new tool for me. So you're going to see a lot of pain. Okay, so let's try this. So essentially what I want to do, if we go over to PHP Storm and have a look at the config, I guess what I need to do is create a step that saves the stuff in the home directory. Yeah, let me just read this through a minute. So this is the build job. It builds everything. It checks it out. It then restores a cache if there is one. It then installs the dependencies. It then saves the cache, and the cache being in home circle CI npm. Is that the right path though? If the working, no, actually this could be the issue. If the working directory is portal, and we're saving everything in here, I wonder. Okay, before I hack this up, let's do an npm, let's do a git, I'm getting excited now. Git checkout -b, and we'll do fixes, regression. I can't spell it. Let's just do Circle CI tests. Take care, Mr. DB. Take care, Mr. DB303. Stay safe, and I'll see you soon. Yeah. Oh, you're having a roast. Oh my word. Gosh, it's like one of my favorite meals. Enjoy your roast dinner, sir. Roast chicken as well. Get in. Take care. Okay, so that's I'm thinking maybe what we should do is just, instead of saving this, we should just do node modules. Same with this one, I think. Because I don't see the point in saving the stuff on home, because we're not installing stuff on home, we're installing stuff like the directories was home circle CI. Well, if we're already working in this path, then that doesn't make any sense. So yeah, node modules in there. Let's do node modules in there too. Unfortunately, we'll do node modules there. Let's just do node modules everywhere. Unfortunately, there isn't really an easy way for me to test this, as far as I'm aware. without actually pushing this up to Circle CI. I think there's a way of doing it where I can actually pull down stuff locally, but I haven't actually learned how to do that yet. So let's just fingers crossed. Let's just throw it at the wall and see if it sticks. Now, really what I should be doing is doing this in increments as well, otherwise I'll change so much of it. But I want to have a look a little bit at this not that Persister workspace job. So it's a step. It is a step. It says it's a step. So steps. We do restore cache, then we do a run. We save the cache, then we do a run. So that's build and serve. Oh, this is test acceptance. Scroll up, scroll up, scroll up, scroll up. Here we go. I think we need to do after this. I think what we need to do is a persist to workspace step. And I think what we should do is we should store the whole site here. So this is going to require the root directory, which is the here. So it's going to require root, which would be the same as the working directory, I think, if I'm doing this correctly. Yeah, I think so. And we want to store paths, which is an array. So they've got like foo and bar. Really what I want to do is I want to save everything. So sort of that within the local working directory. Maybe what I should do is change that to be /temp. No, that needs to be there. I don't know. I really don't know. I've never done this before. Is there a way of defining what is the difference between persist to workspace versus save cache? Has someone asked this? Persist to workspace versus save cache. Here we go. I'm trying to optimize our build. Up until recently, we had a dependency task ran git. Okay, so this is looks like a yarn thing, right? We do the compile. Why is persist to workspace slower than save cache? Should we be using cache for workspaces for Git? It's an interesting question. Does persist to workspace accept a job? Oh, sorry, a glob. It does, according to the thing. Let's things I use caches for: Git directories for speed issues you've identified. Right. Okay. Node folders. Canonical use case, a cache of node modules with a yarn lock hash for the name of its... Okay, fine. Things I use workspaces for. Handling folders. Off to orbs. Again, orbs is something that I should look into, but I just haven't. It's on my list. I think an orb is like a predefined set of jobs, I think. Maybe. Storing mutable variables within a build. Your dependency job sounds an awful lot like our code switch one. Okay, I don't know what code. Okay, so that's okay, fine. So execute default working directory steps checkout, populate deploy branch, checkout diffs, removing .git. Okay, save the cache. So that's the build. Okay, right. So it's doing a build. Right. Okay. Working directory is this. So really, there is a job. Let's get rid of this for a second. There is a build job down here. Here we go. So it does a build and serve. So that it actually builds the site. So it might be a case that I need to do that here. Let's just, I'm intrigued. This person has said that it's faster to do Git directories. Well, Git directory is our whole project, so, and they're using caches. Interesting. It just seems a bit odd that I'm caching this and then saving everything to the workspace. Anywho. So, okay, the problem is between the build and the test unit. Right. So it is a problem between. So that's the build. That's the test unit. We've changed the node modules, that's fine. I don't think that's going to have too much of a great impact. Let's just persist to workspace and then let's attach to workspace. Let's just see if that works. So let's go back over to here. To here. There should be an example for attaching to a workspace. In fact, let's have a look at and see. Have we got an example? Has he put an example here? We've got restore cache, bail if current. No, that's fine. Here is to persist workspace accepting 2 files. It's not literally okay. Marvelous. Okay. I can't see any. That's using cache. Restore cache. I can't see. Oh, I see. Right. Save cache. Here we go. We're saving the whole thing. The whole build directory. And then in this Ruby UI Ruby job, we are then restoring that from this cache. I see. Okay. Okay, let's okay, first up, let's do the attachment of a workspace first. So that would be in here. So the steps we'll do so really if that requires that, we don't have to do a checkout. We could just attach the workspace. If the test unit in this workspace here requires the build, test unit requires build, then we would have the workspace, which means that we would be able to attach it in theory, right? So we would attach the workspace and it would be at, and it would be the working directory. I think that kind of covers it. Yeah. We wouldn't have to worry about this whole... We don't have to worry about any of this. We would just run the units. We would attach the workspace that has already been built. See, this makes sense in my head, but I don't know if this is actually going to work. Okay, so let's start from the top. We do a build. We set the portal as the working directory. We deal with the Docker image. That's fine. We check out the code. We then restore the cache if the cache is able to be restored. We then install the dependencies and we save that to the cache. Fine. That is the node modules. We save the node modules, which is in the current working directory in the portal, to the cache. We then persist the whole directory to the workspace. We then have test unit, working directory, Docker, again, all of this jazz. We then attach the portal workspace, which we've just persisted at this point, and then we run the npm units. And the workflow is defined here. So, say build and test. Build would require test unit. Build and then test unit. We would do the build, and then the test unit requires the build. So that's the workflow. So we would already have the workspace, I think. All right, so the next one, the test acceptance, should really follow in that sort of regard then. So let's we wouldn't need to do the checkout. We wouldn't need to restore the cache. We wouldn't need to do any of that. We would just need to run Gatsby build and serve. Then we run the acceptance tests, because this regression test workflow, it gets triggered every midnight, fine, and then it does the branches. Will only run on regression and main, but its jobs are build. So we would have the portal persisted to the workspace. It then does the test unit, which requires the portal to be persisted to the workspace. We have a requirement on test unit to have the build, and we have a requirement of a test acceptance to have the test unit. So for that to work, that needs to be ran. For that to run, we should have that, I think. Right. Just reading your comment there, Toby. Bear with me a minute. I don't really understand the question there, Toby. Sorry. Are you after coding books? For reading programming books? Oh, right. A tip for reading programming books. Yeah, well, okay. It really depends on what the programming books are. Because there are some that I use like resources. So they're like, they're just like go-to books. And I use the index page a lot. You know, the contents page to then find specific things, and it becomes a resource. So I don't really read a programming book from cover to cover, if that makes sense. I use that to just pinpoint specific things. However, there are other books though that I do read from cover to cover. There's a really good book that is hang on, I'll find it. Bear with me a minute. Here we go. Oh, let's get into this view. So this book I highly recommend. It's called the TDD Companion, and look how thin it is. It's really small. So you could read it back to back because there's not a lot to it. But for every page, there is a single sort of thing that talks about TDD. So it's like a chapter per page. It's really quite good. So it's a book that you can pick up and put down, but not all programming books are like that, obviously. Where's the button? Yeah, so yeah, it's a tricky one. I'm one of those people who prefer to learn over video than over books. My advice, though, is to not just follow what the book says, but to explore and change some things and test things out. Otherwise, you're just basically writing the code out that's in the book, right? And that's going to get you so far, but you need to experiment and see if there's anything that you can do that the book doesn't suggest. Or if the book suggests that, you know, you should look into XYZ, then look into that. Don't just like read a book from cover to cover and go, oh, I because I read that book, I now understand everything that book says. You have to go and experiment. That's the whole point of programming. It's an experimental sort of journey, if you will. So yeah, I treat books more like references rather than things like it's more reference material than sort of an academic kind of, I don't know, a book that you would get if you were a psychologist or something like that. It's more of these are code snippets to do. This topic is specific to, I don't know, architecture of a particular design pattern that I'm interested in. And maybe I would only buy a book because I was only interested in that one single design pattern, and the book itself has, say, 7 or 8 different ones. But at least then I've got that, so then I can come back to it later. But I guess my also advice is, if you're getting stuck and if it's boring you, if the book is boring you, then try another one. Rylex is saying, this looks way cooler than Bamboo. I don't know what Bamboo is, so I'm going to say yes, I agree with you. I have no idea what Bamboo is, apart from the stick. Okay, so I've just deleted a bunch of stuff and changed a bunch of stuff, and I'm going to, fingers crossed, I'm going to push it over the fence, throw it over the fence, and see what happens. So let's do just a quick git status. There should only be one file. Let's do a git diff just to get it right in my head. Just double check a couple of things. Okay, so we've removed the Circle CI .npm, and we've replaced that with node modules. We've also added persist to workspace. We're going to persist the whole portal directory. See, I don't know if this is the right thing to do. I think that needs to be different. If I look at the here, everyone's got like a temp folder, but I don't know if that is. I don't know. I think there's only one way of trying it, right? And then after that, we define the path. Again, that's a bit weird that the path is the same as the route, but whatever. Okay, we've deleted all of this from the wherever this is in test unit. So we've deleted checkout, we've just deleted restore cache, we've deleted the install dependencies, we've deleted the save cache because we're hoping that we can attach the workspace. So that's the point. And we've also done the same with the acceptance test as well, and we've attached that. Okay, let's see what happens. Let's do a git commit am. This is kind of a bit of a brutal commit, but we'll see. So changing how no, let's just so saving build to workspace. Okay, let's do a git push of origin, passing in this. Okay, I don't know if this is going to work. I have no idea. I've probably ruined it. So what I've got Circle CI doing is it should be doing a build now, hopefully, fingers crossed, because it should be doing a build for every push. That was 12 seconds ago, and it failed. Ah, wonderful. Okay, so it failed. It failed on the build. Oh, so it didn't even get to the test unit. Damn. Damn. Okay, here we go. Step 5, persist to workspace. One error occurred. Path portal is not relative to... Oh, it needs to be a relative path. Okay. Fine. Okay, so it needs to be a relative path, which would be that. Would it be that? Or would it just be dot? Is it even needed? Who knows? Let's have a look. Is it a requirement to have paths in there? Required, yes, it is. Dagnammit. Okay, it's a glob identifying file or a non-glob path to a directory to add to the shared workspace, interpreted as relative to the workspace root. Workspace root being home, the home portal thing, must not be the workspace root itself. Okay, so that's a pain. Okay, so working directory is that. That would be home and then portal, I think. So could that be... This is I kind of need to see a full-on example, don't I? Something that here we go. Working directory, home, circle CI. So could this just be /home? And could this be portal? Could that work? Might work. I don't know. Let's give it a go. So attach workspace at... Now again, does that need to be... Where's the attachment? Here we go. Directory to attach the workspace to. So this would be home and then portal. So I think that's okay. I don't know. Let's go. Let's do it. Let's give it a go. Get over to Circle and go to Portal. Okay, it's running. Okay, something's happening. It's doing a run. It's a Latizan's continuous integration and deployment tool that ties automated builds and tests and releases together in a single workflow. Thank you for that, Rilex. That's what Bamboo is it? Never used it. I'm trying though for 2021. I'm trying to move everything off of Bitbucket onto GitHub because GitHub have unlimited private repositories, and also I do want to do. Oh, it's failed again. The specified path did not match any files in home. Yeah, I want to open source more stuff next year, and I originally used Bitbucket because Bitbucket was private by default, and I know that GitHub allows you to have now private stuff, and they've done it for a while, but I never really jumped on that train. So, and as I'm working with CI/CD stuff, new stuff, I thought I would take the opportunity to move everything over. Okay. So, even though we're in the workspace of Portal, we can't find Portal in the root path of home, which is puzzling. Because if we look at this, maybe we should, so that's home circle CI build directory. Maybe we need to define in more of a way here what this should be. This should be home, portal. Okay, that's the working directory. Now, working directory should create that directory if it doesn't exist. In which directory to run the steps? Default is project. Project is a literal string, not the name of the project. You can also refer to the directory with circle working directory environment variable. So that's changed it to home portal, which means now that the root should be home and that should be portal. So again, let's change this, which is weird because that's what the tilde does, but whatever. The tilde's the squirrely thing on the this thing. All right, let's give that a blast. See, this is what's happening. Like I'm just having to do a lot of trial and error. I'm sure there's a way I can test this locally, but I literally played with Circle like last week, so I'm so updating home dir. I don't know. Total trial and error. Let's go back to the portal. It's running again. And if we click on the build, we should be able to see that it's doing all the Docker stuff. So this is what you would normally see me do locally, right? Although I should say Circle is immensely quick. Okay, so that's all done. This is downloading the Circle CI stuff. Okay, now it's doing a checkout of a code and it's failed. Why have you failed? Cannot create directory home, permission denied. Okay. Bugger it. I reckon the portal was in here, you know. I reckon that's the home. Yeah. Okay. I think I've got this backwards. That is the home directory that we're in. And I've found that out because I can see that is the .ssh that we're running off of. Fine. So let's do home Circle CI portal. So this should be home Circle CI, right? And then this should be home Circle CI portal. And this should be home Circle CI portal. And this should be home Circle CI portal too. Okay, that looks good. Oh yeah, the working directory needs to change as well, which makes sense because that would be home and then that would be the, yeah, so, okay. Let's just do this. It's a bit more explicit, isn't it? Essentially, that is what that was. Home Circle CI portal, 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 home Circle CI portal. Okay, right. Oops. Okay, let's go back to the top. Let's go back to portal. Okay, it's running again. Let's click on it. Let's see what's going on. Okay, so it's checked out the code, so that it's found the right thing. That's good. So now it's doing a restoring of cache. Cached paths at home Circle CI npm. Interesting. So now it's doing an install of dependencies. I didn't think that was the right path though. Anyway, okay, so now it's doing an install of those dependencies. now it's saving the cache. Okay, so that is saving the cache. It already exists, so that's okay. Now it's persisting to the workspace. This is the new step. Creating a workspace archive. I don't know how long this is going to take because I've never done it before. Okay, uploading the workspace archive. Workspace archive uploaded successfully. That's a win. So now we should be off of this actual job, and we should be doing the test of the units. Woo! So now what are we doing? We're pulling down all the stuff. I don't know if it needs to do this because we've already done it. I don't know. I'm not sure. You know, that's 3 seconds worth of stuff. And Circle CI costs in terms of compute time. Okay, so now we're attaching the workspace. This is new. I guess this is like a Docker volume, I suppose. Oh, it's a tar GZ, so they've GZ'd it up. So now we're attaching the workspace. I wonder if we need to do the whole spinning up of things. I don't know. It's just because this is JavaScript. Well, it's Node. No, we would need to have a Node container, wouldn't we? Yeah. Wow, this is taking time, isn't it? This is taking a bit of time. 52 seconds already. It's 197 megabytes. We're over a minute. This is probably why they said caching was... great. Now we got a unit test fail. Okay, no such file or directory. Home Circle CI portal package.json. What? Why? Because this is related to npm not being able to find a file. That doesn't make any sense. That would be in our workspace that we've just saved, right? So that would be in here, which we have just saved and attached. So right. I don't really understand this, to be fair. I would have thought that because we've persisted the portal to the workspace, that workspace would contain everything that's been checked out, including that package.json file, which we've cached. But apparently it doesn't. That's the path that we're on, isn't it? Yeah, that is. And that's the same as this one. And yeah. Is there anything in here? No, not really. I mean, if we go to the test unit, the working directory is here. Home Circle CI portal. And we are attaching home Circle CI portal. It's not because the working directory is no, I need to set it. I need to set that. Yeah. Okay. I don't understand. I don't get why. Okay, let's have a think. So this person is doing 2 jobs, code switch and then UI Ruby. So these are 2 jobs. They've set the working directory, right? So kind of like ours, where we've got this as portal rather than build directory. Oh, wait. Hang on a minute. Right. I've spotted this. The checkout has a path. And they have this, which in our case would be portal. Right. Okay. And notice they're not checking out anything again. They're just getting the build directory here. Yeah. Okay. So that's build. Do we do a checkout? That's the path. They are doing a save cache of the current working directory, the whole thing. And they're doing it as a git char on .revision. That's clever. Where is it being restored? It's being restored down here. Okay, so bail if current. Bail if current will gracefully kill the job if there are no changes on the detect path conditioning. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, so maybe what we should do is, instead of caching the log file, we should cache the whole thing, like this person. So, for instance, no, that doesn't make sense in my head. No, that certainly doesn't make any sense. But I tell you, we should cache both, shouldn't we? We should cache the we should cache npm, but we should also cache Oh, I tell you what, I'm not doing right here. I need to restore that in here. That's what I need to do, don't I? I think that's what I need to do. I think. Yeah, so we attach the workspace, which is bail if whatever that is. And then we restore cache. And at this point, we restore because it's a git revision, it's going to be across both jobs, I don't think. I don't know if this is going to work. It probably won't. I don't want to cache the whole thing because that, in my opinion, doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't want to cache the whole job. I don't think that's wise. Or is it wise? I've got no idea. I have no idea. Key git char revision. So that's okay. That's then restored it back. So then at this point, restore cache, run install dependencies. I think I'm going to need this. I think. Don't know. The thing that's getting me is I don't understand why the workspace that we've attached, which is this one here, why it doesn't include the package.log file, package.json file, when we've done all this stuff, we've done the install, and we are persisting PHP root Circle CI, Circle CI. It's all spelled correctly. It's annoying that this is Ruby. I just feel like if I commit this up, it's going to fail because it's going to say it can't find npm to do, or the package JSON file to run this command. And in my head, I don't actually understand why I need to run that command, because it should be attached already to the workspace. I don't understand. Don't understand it. They have a working directory which is different to the working directory defined above, because they have a build directory that they've put everything in. Yeah, I don't like doing things that I don't like just throwing things up with if I don't actually fully understand, if I don't have any kind of inkling as to what it is that it's doing. We're doing a checkout, we're putting that into the path. Then we're restoring the cache. We're setting the keys. That's fine. We're then installing dependencies. We're saving the cache, and then we're persisting everything to the portal. Home, Circle CI, portal. Now, if we went back to here, so it would be temp workspace, and it would be, do I need to put in, right, I think I may need to put in the asterisk. I think what I've done is just persisted a directory but not its contents. That might be the thing, which would explain why the package.json file doesn't exist, because in theory nothing would exist. So let's remove this, and I think what I need to do is I need to do /*. So copy everything in this directory. Yeah, I think that's what I need to do. I think that's the only change I've made, isn't it? Apart from the checkout path. All right, let's have a look. Okay, let's have another go. Spin that again. Okay, we've got build now, number 28, 128. Speaking about books, I was given some really good books on at Christmas. I've still got a load of books that I'm reading to do with programming and stuff. But I've got Weapons of Math Destruction, how big data increases inequality and threatens democracy. A nice light read there. The 4, which is the hidden DNA of Amazon, Apple, Facebook, and Google. That was written by Scott Galloway, and apparently it's the New York Times bestseller. And I've heard some good things about this, so I'm looking forward to getting into that one. White Privilege: The Myth of a Post-Racial Society. Quite interested in that kind of stuff, and exploring the naivety I have around these things. Blind Spot as well, which is another one which is about bias, so hidden biases of good people. This is another New York Times bestseller. So and it looks a wee bit on the light side, so I might be able to blow through this quite quick, which is good. Although looking at and I've got a feeling this is going to be. I mean, I haven't read it yet, but I've got a feeling it's going to be quite sort of in the same sort of range as the other book I read, which was about terrible tech, and stereotypes and stuff. Yeah. And then this one, which I have got because I have been watching Silicon Valley. And I've been watching Silicon Valley thinking this is nothing like what it's like in the UK. The tech scene in the UK, Silicon Valley, is just bonkers. I don't know whether it's because they've dramatized it, and I've never actually been to Silicon Valley myself, so I don't actually know if it's a true likeness to the scene, the culture there. But this one grabs me. It's called Brotopia, which is this one here. And it's breaking up the big boys club of Silicon Valley. So I'm just interested to know about the history of the tech scene in Silicon Valley off of the back of the Silicon Valley program, the series. Because, I mean, it's funny. The series is funny, but I just don't think it's a reflection of the tech industry. Here, at least here in the UK, it just seems a bit weird. And I don't know whether... I mean, there's obviously a lot of similarities, but it just is a bit... It's a bit weird with the incubators and all of that stuff, the financial stuff side of it, wherever you go, there's someone with an app idea. It just doesn't feel like what it is over here in the UK. Obviously, they say that Swindon is the Silicon Valley of the UK. I don't know who said that. Anyway, this looks good, doesn't it? We got a portal here. It's still running. Oh, it's failed. Ugh, damn. Okay, so we still have this same issue. No file or directory open. So Circle CI portal. Hang on a minute. No such file directory open. So that doesn't say that it doesn't exist. It just means that it's not open. What? I'm going to copy this. Do I have to do anything to open these files? Let's just put in project there. Someone's already discussing it. We are at the moment evaluating Circle, like I am. I have a Docker Compose which fails to build one of the containers with reasons of npm installs. Fails to find package.json, which actually does exist in the working folder. Okay, what's the debug of root npm logs? How do you download blah 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 blah, given go to the failed build, run it again with SSH option, and then you can use the less or cat nano etc to examine. I SSH'd into the container built from node 10. But there's no log files in yada yada yada. Okay, my volume attached from Docker Compose overrides the folder, hence deletes the package.json. Right. Is it because then we are using a Docker image for the build, and we're using a Docker image for the test unit? I mean, we have to, right? Because we need Node, so we have to. I don't understand. Right. So if it's open, if it's not open, it means that it's not there. I don't understand this. I don't understand this at all. Persister workspace. We've got the root directory. We're persisting everything into the portal. And then here we are attaching the workspace, home, circle, portal. So we should be attaching ourselves to ourselves, essentially. Unless, because we're here, this isn't being attached properly. That could potentially be the problem. What about then putting this another level up? So, what I'm saying is, like, what if we, because this person here is setting the work directory to home, circle, build directory, right? So that's the build directory. It does all of this stuff, and it saves the, in this case, the cache to the build directory. And then we've got another working directory which is 2 levels outside of the build directory. So I may be wondering whether this needs to be somewhere else. Bail if current. Clients UI Ruby. Restoring from cache. And then we get the repository. Docker build deploy. UI Ruby. I don't know what that is. Docker layer caching is true. Persister workspace, temp directory, files to store. Here, persister workspace accepting 2 files if, okay, fine. So this is tricky because I can't move this anywhere because it needs to be, yeah, this is a pain. I think it might be something to do with the working directory and the attachment here being the same. I'm wondering, see, this needs to be at the top of that. Maybe I should just try doing the caching rather than persistence to workspace. Maybe I should try that. So caching everything. Although, I mean, that just sounds brutal, but I mean, here this person isn't doing any doesn't look like they're doing any build of dependencies. Yeah, okay. I mean, what we could do is we could save the cache. So instead of doing a persistence to workspace, we could save another cache, and we could save the portal, all of that, and then we would restore everything. So instead of using the attach to workspace, we literally just restore everything back to what it was. Sounds, I don't know. I think we still need to have a cache here for the node stuff, because you know that could change. What else? So bail if current, that's fine. Clients UI Ruby. Bail if current will gracefully kill the job if there is no changes detected. Okay, fine. Okay. All right, let's try that. So instead of using the attach workspace, yeah, the workspace, let's try and restore the cache. I don't know if this is going to work. So saving the cache at this point. After all of this has been built, we save the cache. We set the working directory on this. So this is a completely fresh build. So we would we would go into this directory and then we would restore the cache. Okay, let's give that a go. So instead of doing the updating of checkout path, we are replacing workspace with a cache. And they're caching it per, which is really clever, they're caching it per git commit. Which is good. So let's unable to parse YAML. Okay, what have I done wrong here? Save cache. Block end. Something to do with this here. Aha. Right, it wasn't in line. If this doesn't work, I think I'm going to SSH into the box and just have a little look at the log files. But I'll have to do this off stream, of course. There we go. Alright, let's have a look. So that should do the restoring of the dependencies. This should be doing an install of dependencies if there's any change. That's fine. Now it's saving the cache of the whole thing. It should be doing anyway. I hope, if I've set this right. Let's just quickly have a look. Yeah. In terms of the path here. Yeah. Okay, so that's now saving that. See, that's lightning compared 25 seconds compared to a minute. Okay, let's go back to the next. So that tests are now running. It's restoring the cache. So this is the restoring it from here, unarchiving the cache. Please work. Now it's running the unit tests. So this is the thing that always fails. Come on. Oh my word, it's passed. You don't know how happy that's made me feel. That has successfully passed. Mission accomplished. Okay, so what I need to do is test the regression. So the regression runs every at midnight. Sorry, my Apple Watch is just telling me that I've completed my standing target. So this runs at midnight. This runs at midnight, and it's based on the regression and the main branch. So let's go over to portal here, and let's do a compare and poll. Let's pull that into first up, let's pull it into develop and then push develop into regression. That's probably the best way. So let's so many changes. So many little mistakes. All right, let's create a pull request. I need to set up all of this, like to have labels and everything sorted. So, okay, let's check out the conflicts here. What's going on? Okay, let's. I should have done this from developer off. To be fair, let's do a git. Let's sort these conflicts out using command line. Let's run git fetch origin. We're already there, so that should error. That's fine. Let's merge develop in. Okay, so the issue lies. Okay, so we've got a new labeler file. That's fine. And the issue is Circle CI config. And if we had a look at it, we can see these. So let's see if we can resolve this. So that was the problem. That's that head. Okay, so we should be able to remove all of that. I think this is in the. Let's start from the top. It's easier to start from the top. Yes, I think that's fine. That's as it should be. So we'll remove these two, and then down here we've got this to remove, because this is the next step, which is the test unit. So we restore the cache based on the key, and then we do the run. Okay, so again, that's that head, and then down here we want to remove all of that from here, and remove that too. There's a new space there apparently, and there is some changes to build filters, branches, ignore regression. Oh, that's build and test. Build and test is ignoring the regression. So anything that goes into regression will ignore the build and test. That makes sense. Okay, these are obviously changes that I did last night and I haven't pulled in. Again, so it's going to do a build and it will ignore the regression. Regression test will do set the environment variables. Then it will do a branches only regression. So last time we had main. That's fine. Test acceptance is okay. We don't have the cron. I must have removed it. Okay, that's fine. Git status, git add. Whoops. Git push. Now that will technically run and make another run. And we can see that Circle CI is pending, so that should be in the queue. So if we had a look at the pipeline, we should see that already building here. So in theory, this should all pass. There shouldn't be a problem with this, but let's just keep watching it through. It's the saving of the cache which takes time, but it should only be 20-30 seconds compared to what it was before with actually doing the the workspace persistence. That was taking like over 3 minutes. So was it 3 minutes, or it was certainly over a minute at least. Okay, so now it's restoring from cache, and that would take, what, 8, 9, 10, yeah, 10 seconds. So now we're running the tests, so hopefully, fingers crossed, this should all work. We can then push this into, there we go, we can see all those unit tests run. That's what we were seeing before locally, so that's passed now. That's succeeded. So let's do a merge into develop. So we'll confirm that, and I'll delete the branch. So that will fire off another test because I've merged this into develop, which is great. The next thing we're going to do is merge develop into regression. Now I should have done all of this. Well, no, that's fine. We've got the feature branches. I probably going forward will prevent the feature branches from being tested or built like this. I'll probably only do it from develop. So anything that gets merged into develop gets tested, and then anything from develop to the other branches, so beta branch, main branch, regression branch, they get tested too. That's the problem when you've got multiple branches that are public facing. So you've got the beta branch, for instance, and you've got the main branch. Main branch is being production, and then you've got the beta branch, which is for the beta testers, which means that there needs to be another branch below that to allow me to get to stage those kind of commits. So, which is develop. And now I also have a third branch, which is regression, which I will be putting back that cron. I don't know why I removed it. I think I was getting so frustrated when I was doing this. Come on. Come on. This should just work, right? We're restoring that. Last time it took like 10 seconds, so I don't know why this is taking longer. Come on. Now run the units. Now this will only do the unit tests. The regression tests will do the unit tests and the acceptance tests. That's what I want to get to. So we're going to, now that's been merged in, that's fine. Let's go back to portal here and have a wee look. So develop has 2 recent branches, so we'll two pushes. So we will merge that into our regression. So it's able to merge, create the pull request. And that's all good. The 2 checks have passed apparently, although if we go back to here, have we fired off another one? I can't quite remember. No. Okay, so we're in develop. No, that has worked. That has worked. Sorry, I need to actually merge it in. Yeah, so eventually what I want is to automate this. I want to automate this. So, okay, so now we're in the regression. So it's doing test acceptance rather than test unit, which is different. So if we click on here, we should sort of see on the actual build regression workflow that it's doing the build and then it's going to test acceptance, which is a different sort of path, if you will. Test acceptance should run this, which is based on the working directory, restores the cache, it does a Gatsby build and serve, and an npm run pipeline test all. So this has never been ran before on Circle, so I have no idea whether this is going to work or not. So I don't know. We will see. Okay, so here we go, it's spinning up the environment. Now it's restoring the cache back. I mean, if this works. I mean, I don't expect this to work. So, you know, no, it hasn't worked. So this is no such file, node modules bin cucumber. Okay. Well, we've got further than we had before. The build and serve will be running this and putting it in the background. But that's why it's the build was cancelled, because it's a background job and this has failed. So I need to work out why this has failed. No such file directory stats build modules. I don't know. I don't know why that has failed. That would be the current working directory. And the current working directory would be in there. So why that is missing, I don't know. Unsure. Anyway, I am going to call that a day, because that is 3.5 hours worth of streaming. We've got quite far. We did the code notes. We did some Google Analytics module there in JavaScript, and we've progressed with the Circle CI stuff. So anyway, thank you ever so much for watching. Happy coding, stay safe, and have a great holiday. I'll see you again soon. Cheers, bye bye.